If I may have your attention, please. It is now the moment we've all been waiting for. Please allow me to welcome to the reception our bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Rocha.
First of all, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out here. This means a lot to us, and we couldn't be more grateful. And this has just been an incredible experience. And you know, the first 3 hours of marriage have been going great. I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to do it right. So, I love you. I just want to give thanks to everybody that came. You know, I have family coming from out of state. Christina had family coming from out of state, and that just means the world to us that everybody was able to come out and congratulate us and share in this the start of our journey together with us. So we appreciate that. And then the next thank you I wanted to give to Rob and Yancy and my mom and my dad. We couldn't have done this without you guys, and you guys have been there with us from the start of all this, you know, when I proposed in December, and we really appreciate you guys big time. You guys help us out a lot, and we couldn't be any more grateful. Thank you guys. For those of you that don't know the story about how Christina and I met, there's two different versions to it. There's my version, and then there's Christina's version.
What's the truth?
I'm going to tell you what the truth is. The truth has always been my version. So let's rewind this, take it back to April 24, 2017. Let me go back.
Know your dates, babe.
Dates are good, right, Christina? Yeah, dates are good. So you got Richard Rocha going to the Inglewood Light Rail Station. He's on his way to a Colorado Rockies game versus the Washington Nationals. And when I get to the train station, there is this beautiful girl just sitting across the tracks from me. And she was wearing sandals with blue jeans, a Colorado Rockies jersey of Charlie Blackmon, and a Colorado Rockies black hat. And that was Christina. And that was one of my absolute favorite moments. So we get on the train, we're going to the Rockies game, and you know, the first conversation I had with her, I just said hello, she said hi. First thing I ever asked her was, are you going to the Rockies game? I mean, what else was I supposed to say? What else was I supposed to say? I needed something to break the ice. Clearly, she was all in her Rockies gear, and I had to break the ice with something, so that's what I went with. And it worked, because we're here right now. So, don't give me a hard time about that. You guys should try that, all you single guys. Try that on your next time, see what happens.
By the time you get off.
12:01. That's when it's over. And so I say hi, are you going to Rockies game? She says yes. We start talking a little bit. And for those of you that are familiar with, RTD Light Rail, there comes a spot once you're coming up from the C&D line from Inglewood, and you come up to 10th and Osage. You can go two separate ways. You can go into Union Station, which is the quickest way to get to a Colorado Rockies game, or you can go to Central Downtown, and that was the route Christina was going. So I met Christina, we were talking, and I had two options once I hit that 10th and Osage station. I can either go the quickest way I know to Union Station, walk over to the Rockies game by myself, or I can take a chance on this and just ride with a stranger, and who knows where we end up. that was also the best decision I ever made, was following her and taking that train to central downtown. And the whole way over there, we were walking, just walking to Coors Field, talking, getting to know each other a little bit. And she invites me over to hang out with her and her friends. And just being just a stranger, I took a chance and I went for it. And I was like, sure, I'd be happy to do that. And clearly, that worked out. And we hung out at the Rockies game, got to know each other a little bit. I met the VIA team out there, and that was an incredible experience. And I made a lot of new friends. And I didn't know this then, but I met my bride at that point in time. And we hung out at the Rockies game, and I guess I asked her out for our first official date that night. Once we were coming back home from the Rockies game, and we went to Inglewood Grand, which has been kind of our spot, our bar, since we first met. And that's just kind of when things took off. And I didn't know this then, like I know it now, but that was the greatest day of my life. Up until tonight. I love you, and I'm so excited to spend the rest of our lives together. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so there's some things that never change. We're going a little off script. I know we talked about that, but a little off script. I haven't been to visit Rich in a little bit, but a couple things, like I said, don't change. Like, he still drinks Mountain Dew Code Red. I was digging into his center console because I needed a mint. Driving over here, I was a little nervous. And he still has the zebra strip gum that was hard, but I still ate it I still chewed on it because I needed to. He still eats Fruity Pebbles. That's his favorite. So there's just a couple things I know about my brother that haven't changed. So that's one of my favorite things about Rich, is that he's what you get. What you see is what you get with him, and I love that. But okay, I'm going back on script now. So hi, good evening. My name is Jennifer. I'm sister of the groom. I have to read off of this or else I'm going to forget everything. So when Rich first asked me to be his best man, I was super excited, and I just felt really honored. I'm not going to cry. He was my maid of honor for my wedding. I've known him and loved him since the first day he was born. I know him better than any of his friends. I know that sometimes when he gets really nervous and when he's in an awkward situation, he gets a really weird smirk on his face, like the one he has right now. He's like, what are you about to say, Jennifer? And it's gonna get a little bad, Rich. I'm sorry, I love you. I hope you love me after this. Either way, you made a really good choice in picking me as your best man. Thank you, babe. Okay. So from what I've read about giving best man speeches, there's got to be some embarrassing facts. So here we go. That's part of the speech. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay, so Rich slept on the floor of my parents' bedroom until he was a freshman in high school. That's true. It's totally true. He's not denying it. Take another drink, loosen up a little bit. Sometimes he even slept on the floor of my room because he just didn't want to be alone. So I think that's a cute one though. That's not that bad, Rich. That's not that bad. It gets progressively worse, so that's not that bad. I'm kidding. So when Rich was younger, I don't even know what age, maybe 10, 14, 18. He dreamed of one day being a Denver Broncos stadium cleaner. He loved the Broncos so much, he was like, one day I just want to clean the stadium so I could see the players and interact with them. And so 4 years ago when he told me he was moving to Denver, I was like, oh shit, his dream's coming true, yay, my brother! It's coming true finally, I'm so happy for him. So yeah, that was a cool day, but I was really sad. Because I knew he was going to be leaving and he probably wasn't going to be coming home anytime soon. But like I said, I was really happy for him because his dream was coming to fruition. That was awesome. Okay, So that part's over. I don't think we're doing any more embarrassing moments. Maybe a little later. I don't know what I wrote here. Okay, so I'm 7 years older than Richard. I remember like where I was when I found out my mom was giving me a brother. I remember what I was wearing. I was so excited. I was beyond thrilled. Since then, since the day he was born, he's always been my Richie. I'm super protective. Just ask his last girlfriend. No, don't ask her. She doesn't like me. I knew that wasn't going to work out. She was not a good one. But this right here, this is going to last. Like I've only had the privilege of hanging out with Christina a couple times, but the few times I have, like she's just, them together is just so sweet, and I think they complement each other so well, and they respect each other, and they listen to each other, and they have fun together, and I just think that's one of the keys to a happy marriage. So I know they're going to be great, and they're going to last forever, and I couldn't be more happier about that. Okay, the second reason why I know this is going to work is because one of the very first times I met Christina, we were in a Rosie heading to Tony's taco truck. It was a late night stop because we were hungry. We just had left my cousin Miranda's quinceañera, and we were getting pulled over by the cops, and my brother was driving. And I guess there was a stolen vehicle that matched the description of ours. And so Richard pulled over, and like Christina didn't jump out and run. So I was like, well, that's good. She's a winner. She's gonna stick around for my brother, okay. Obviously they let us go because we didn't steal the vehicle, but it was a kind of fun, interesting, and Christina was like super cool about the whole thing. She's like, does this happen a lot in a Rosie? I'm like, it kind of does. I'm sorry, welcome to the family. Okay, so when I first found out Richard was getting engaged, I couldn't help but feel like I was losing a part of my brother. It's silly, I know, but I just, like I said, Richard's been my favorite and one of the most important men in my life for my whole life, so I love him so much, and I'm just so proud of him and so happy that he found his person. Okay, no more crying, sorry. Anyways, Christina, I have to say, you have a really good man beside you, and I know you know that, or else you probably wouldn't have said yes. So, okay, so I just have to tell you about this really sweet time. I was going through a situation not too long ago, and I called Richard because he's my person I call, and so I just remember I was really emotional, and like, I don't even know how long we were on the phone. It was probably a long time because I could talk a lot, obviously. And Richard can listen, he's a really good listener. And so I remember I finally got off the phone and I was like, okay, I need to eat. It's been like all day. I think we've been on the phone and I haven't eaten. So I got off the phone with him and he texted me like 5 minutes later and was like, okay, Jen, like don't make dinner. Like I have dinner coming to you in like 10 minutes, it'll be there. And so we got a knock on the door, and it was our favorite spot, Doghouse Grill in Fresno, and he got my order exactly right. And so I swear, if it wasn't for Richard and Uber Eats that night, I wouldn't have made it through. So that's just one of the really sweet things. I mean, that's just like Richard's character. Like, if once he loves you, he takes care of you. And so you, your family, you got a good one. Okay, in my speech I said I made it this far without crying, but obviously that's BS, that didn't happen. Okay, so that part of the speech is over, so now just like a little bit of advice, and I have here, I can't honestly take credit for this. This is Dr. Phil, a very wise Dr. Phil once said, marriage isn't about each person giving 50-50 every day, it's about giving 100-100. You don't always get out of marriage what you put into it, so don't keep score and try to wake up every morning thinking about what you can do to better each other's lives. And I think you'll be all right. Take it from me though, marriage is not easy. It's just so important to work at it every single day and love each other every day and love each other even more during those like really hard times, because they come and go, and as long as you guys stick by each other, everything's gonna be perfect and you're gonna figure it out. Okay, so I'm done. Okay, so would you all join me in raising your glass? I want to officially welcome Christina into the Rocha family. Good luck. You're gonna need it? No, I'm kidding. We're awesome. You're gonna love us. But thank you also to Christina's family. I just met them last night, and like Sam and mom, dad, brother, girlfriend, you guys are amazing. And I feel really blessed to be a part of your life now, and I feel really excited for my brother to be a part of your family. So please raise your glass to Mr. and Mrs. Rocha. Thank you guys. Cheers. Okay, so now it's the maid of honor, Sam.
Oh gosh, I do not know how I'm going to top that. I'm not even going to try. That was beautiful, Jennifer. So yes, I'm Sam. I'm Christina's little sister, so I've known her my entire life. Yes, and as many of you know, she is beautiful, fun-loving. Oh my god, I'm not going to cry. She's witty, and she's incredibly sincere. One thing that you might all not know about her, she is not a huge fan of dogs, and she grew up with a pretty severe allergy, so it makes sense that she would not enjoy having, the itchy eyes and the sneezing when you're around a pet. So when I found out that my sister, Christina, was going to be dog sitting for this guy that she was seeing, I knew that this was serious. And also a thing you might know about Christina, she doesn't really compromise a ton, and so her compromising for a guy that she met on the light rail, that was pretty serious. So I knew from that moment that this was something really real for her, and it's incredible to see. Even her love for Cleo has grown. She loves the dog now, so that's good. It's really incredible to see that. And I got a similar feeling from Richard when I heard that he was taking Christina to go to a Taylor Swift concert. I thought, wow, this guy is going to endure the teenage girls and the screaming and Christina fangirling and all the Taylor Swift for weeks and weeks and weeks. Later I found out that he's a huge Taylor Swift fan, so I think he might have been using her actually as an excuse to go to Taylor Swift without it being too embarrassing. So it worked out for both of them, the huge Swifties here. But in all seriousness, it has been just such a pleasure to see their relationship grow. And I know Richard kind of touched on it and Jennifer touched on it, but they're incredible together, and they both bring out the best in each other. And it is just so funny hearing the fact that they met on the light rail. And I remember when Christina called me and said, well, yeah, I don't know. He's a stranger. So, and now here we are, and his family is here, and it's amazing to meet you guys and be around you guys and know that we're going to be in each other's lives for a long time. So I just want to toast, and I just want to do a toast to the bride and groom and for many more years of laughs and love.
Richard and Christina, good evening. Thank you for having me here. Richard's family, Christina's family, friends, everybody, thank you for having me. So I want to say a little bit, Richard talked about his version of the story. I was the worried mother at home waiting for Christina to get back from a game that started at like 1 in the afternoon, and it was like 1 a.m. And I'm usually the late night girl. And I'm home reading my Harry Potter 7, and Christina's not home yet. And then she comes in and she's like, Jess, weird, at 1 a.m. I met some guy. And I was like, first off, I put the hotel lock on. We have a little lock on our door, because we were roommates. Had this little lock on our door, and Christina couldn't get in. You know why? Because it was past our bedtime. So I would put the lock on because I knew we were both safe in our rooms, but little did I know Christina was still out with Richard. So I didn't know who this man was, and Christina wasn't dating anyone at the time, so I was a little nervous. I said, hey, Christina, you can't just disappear on me. So with that all being said, Christina and I were roommates for a year, and then enter Richard. Stage right. So Richard and I I was his first interrogator. Christina brought him home for like the first week she brought him over, and I asked him maybe 100 questions. Anything from like your favorite food, your not favorite food, your least favorite food. Have you ever hurt somebody? Have you heard Christina? Have you heard her yet? And so any question I could ask him, I pretty much did. So I asked him a bunch of questions, and then he passed all the tests, and that was really great. So anyways, I wanted to kind of go into 2 things. So Richard and Christina both have a lot of great qualities. I'll start with Christina. Christina, of course, she's beautiful. She knows a lot about pop culture. She probably knows any famous person and their favorite flavor of ice cream. I think that's really important. Christina also is a really good organizer. She could reorganize her room maybe 10 different times, and all she needs is a little T-Swift and a little label maker. No Marie Kondo necessary. She can do it on her own. It was very helpful living with her. And then Christina, I have to say, she just is a very, kind of what her sister had mentioned before, very witty, very fun, and I have to say her biggest quality is her loyalty above anything else. Christina is the most loyal friend I've probably ever have and ever will have, because she will never not be loyal to me, so that's great. Richard, you're in luck, great quality. So she just would do anything for her friends and for people that she trusts. First you have to get in there and you have to get her trust, and once you do, you're in for life. So it's just a quality that is so beautiful. It's something that I was talking to her about this earlier this week, that she did VBS Bible school at her church that she's been going to as a little girl. So for over 15 years, she's been serving at a church. That is loyalty for sure. Just being, once she met Richard and once it started, just that trust that she really did give Richard her trust, and that was really beautiful to see, that she just was like, nope, this is the guy. There really was no questions about it, and she was ready to go, and I think that's a beautiful trait and will really serve you guys well in your marriage. So then Richard, he also, very wonderful guy. Him and my boyfriend are also a part of the Great Men's Hair Club. I don't know if you knew that. It's a thing that exists. He has very nice hair, I don't know if you noticed that. I think he pays a yearly fee. It's great. Richard also he's one of my favorites. He loves 90s rap music. This is how we do it. So yeah, love that about Richard. He loves great music. And then Richard's also a bunch of fun. Me and my boyfriend have gotten to know him as well over the last 2 years. And I feel like one of his top traits is his courage. He mentioned it in his speech. Taking the courage to go on the different line, to ask a girl a question, to go meet her friends, to then meet her family, to move away from home. I think Richard shows this trait of courage that is very rare this day and age in the young men folk. Can I get an amen? I'm just saying. It's just hard to find a guy that will really take a leap for something that he believes in, and that is something that Richard's done with Christina. I think it's beautiful, and it's also going to serve you well in your marriage. So I have a little blessing I want to say. It'll be in English and in Spanish, para los que hablan español. That's right. Yeah, no, don't worry about this. So for in English, 1 Peter 4:8, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Entonces, primer libro de Pedro 4:8, sobre todo, ámense los unos a los otros profundamente, porque el amor cubre multitud de pecados. So this couple is unique, special, as their community, and we as their community really need to get around them. So it's our responsibility to support them in their road through marriage. So, también esta es una pareja que amamos mucho y que tenemos que, como su comunidad, amarles y apoyarles. Entonces, vamos a hacer un brindis. We're going to do a cheers. Entonces, agarren los vasos, grab your glasses, and cheers a los novios. Salud a los novios. So, y viva! Viva la raza! Thanks, you guys.
Are you ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. We're going again. Surprise. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's up. There we go. We have our winner. Nice guy. Good luck for this guy.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful